Hey friends, I am outside. Today is the day that's supposed to be very rainy. It was very rainy this morning and cold, but now it's 45 and that's pretty sunny. I'll take it. I'm outside checking on the plants. I thought I would show you kind of how things are doing. This will be their third night outside in the cold. I brought out a gallon of water mixed with that fish emulsion fertilizer that I'm using. I give them all a drink here in a little bit. Let's start in the bottom. These are the ranunculus. Now they cannot handle a freeze once they're up and moving. So a couple of them have got little sprouts out, look a little sad, but I think they're going to be okay overall. Up here, that is not an aster. That's a tag I reused. Brunswick cabbages. They all look really good. Nobody's looking too bad. Now up here, the rapinis, this one looks like it got attacked by something. So I'm going to assume something tried to eat them. This one, the same thing. They're broken. The ones back there look much better. The borage is getting a little out of control. It's huge. I'm probably going to plant this in the ground pretty soon. Up here, these are all the smaller things. I've got some herbs, mostly herbs. A couple kale. That's the chamomile back there. These artichokes are actually kind of bouncing back a little bit. Oops, sorry. Bad camera angle. They're doing okay. And kind of my philosophy on these artichokes is if they don't make this, then they weren't meant to be in my garden. Sorry. Lettuce. You hear my dogs? They're in the backyard. They know I'm out here. And then up here on top, that's my celery, which is doing way better. Of all the things I put out here, the celery was actually the thing I was worried might not handle the cold being as big as it is. Okay, let's talk about composting a little bit. This is my compost pile. And when I first started kind of gardening and looking into doing things organically and in a good way here, I got friends. There you go. I knew I wanted a compost pile. I have a very small city lot, very small. So the idea of taking up a bunch of space for compost, one, I didn't know where I was going to put it. Two, I didn't know how to make it effective. Everything that I kind of saw online talked about these systems where you have to turn it all the time and where, people have different bins and you move it from bin to bin. It all seemed very complicated to me. The sparrows are fighting. So I was really discouraged for a long time for it. And then I finally decided just to make a pile and see what happened. And I'm going to show you. Here's my pile. All I did was at the end of this bed, I put up a little old piece of fence and I made like a 3-sided bin. And I just started shoving stuff in here. I put in old soil from pots. I put in, weeds. I put everything in here. Kitchen scraps, anything I could out of the garden. Now, hi Eleanor, you looking for a close-up? I got chicken food in here. You guys, there's pellets in here. I want to encourage them to knock this down. But as you can see in here, this is beautiful compost. I didn't turn this pile, not once. I have done nothing other than pile it up here. And then once it got higher, I have these boards and I just set them in front and build it up. And then I leave it. So I started this compost pile in, let's see, it would have been in the fall. So in the fall, I start with a clean slate and I put in chicken bedding. I put in grass clippings. As I went through and deadheaded stuff, I put it in here. Any kind of kitchen waste, all that kind of stuff goes in here. I don't worry about the composition too much. You do want to have a certain composition of green to browns. If it smells funny, investigate that. I've never run across that problem. I just keep throwing all of my yard waste into this corner. And then I leave it until right now. So it's spring right now. And you can see I took these down. And when I go to pull this out, I'm going to have this top layer that's not broken down. But all this under here is broken down. It's so pretty. So if you are intimidated by a compost pile or all the videos online that talk about the ways you should do it and how to make it efficient and heat it so much, know if what you've got is space for a pile, you can also just make a pile and it will work. Slowly, but it will work. Today's big project is to fix this raised bed. She's coming apart at the seams. reinforced these corners here on this side and added screws through this way and through this way and through this way. And we did the same thing down at the end. It still has a little bit of a bow to it, but it's not too bad. And then I added all my winter soak containers in this back row so I can clean this top bed up. And this bed has lasted us, we think, 5, maybe 6 years this way. Bailey! To clean this top bed up, you can see all my little garlic starting to come up. And I've even got a couple in this front row. Right there. Okay, I got both ends all cleaned up, top and the bottom. These are just pieces of board with 6mm plastic stapled on them. And I use them to shield my little baby greens from the birds. So once I start planting my lettuce out here, I'll put these side by side and do a whole row. And I will have to come out and water them a little bit more than I would if I didn't have them covered, but the birds will not eat them when they're babies. So this bed is pretty much cleaned up and ready to go as soon as the weather cooperates and I have time. And then this corner, I cleaned this all up too. I've got this bean teepee here, which I might do some peas on in this early spring. And these are all my herb baskets, and we're going to plant these green stalks this week too. So good day's work today. Much to Bailey's dismay, part of today's backyard cleanup included putting up some fencing again after I got this area kind of cleaned out. Oh, somebody's laying an egg. I did not know chickens were so loud when they laid eggs. Ooh. So this pullback area is compost and chickens. Bailey should be kept out of it. It goes around the corner. Really, darling? This area is all cleaned up. What? You are so loud. Thank you. We're very proud of you. Congratulations on your egg. Good job. I just went to check on the eggs. Look who I found in here. Oh, you guys are sharing? You're not supposed to do that. There's another one right there. What are you doing? She's my best friend. All right, I'll leave you alone. Sorry. That was super fun. I got an unexpected afternoon in the garden, no rain, and I got quite a bit done. Tomorrow is supposed to be another rainy day, possibly a snowy day. So I guess we'll see. Tomorrow, hopefully we're outside, but probably downstairs in the basement, out potting peppers, if I had to guess. All right, have a great day.